Good morning, everybody. It's isolation along day 11. 11 days, amazing. Right, as per usual, I'm just going to share the stream to other locations. Good morning if you're joining. I hope you're all well. Did anybody join in the pub quiz last night? Right, I'm just sharing. Hi Leslie, you're quick this morning. Well done, well done. Right, let me just share this. And post. Oh, I think that's my, hold on. No, not quite. We're expecting a Sainsbury's delivery this morning. Big exciting times in our household. Good morning Angela, good morning Chris, good morning Doreen. So it's the card trick block today. Hi Kay. Yes, I'm leaving the menfolk, by menfolk I mean David and the eldest, to organise the shopping when it arrives. I mean, who knows where things will end up. To be fair, it'll probably just get left in the kitchen and I'll sort it out when I get back. Hi Alison, first one you've caught live. Oh, well done. Hi Karen. Good morning Carol. Hi Sandra. Angela, you've got your son delivering your shopping soon. Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Right, so card trick block. It's a bit of an involved one. You're going to need a space near you where you can keep this block laid out in its pieces, because if you lose the pattern, it just messes with your mind a little bit. So clear a space where you can lay everything out before you've pieced it together, and trust me, it will be a lot easier when you do that. So we're starting off with we've got five and a quarter squares. So you need to choose 4 fabrics for the cards themselves and 1 fabric for the outside. Morning Sam. So my I suppose background fabric is the lilac. So lilac, and then I've got hot pink, my lilac flowers, my green, and my purple leaves. Now they're all 5 1/4 inches. So pop them to one side. Then in each card fabric, so not my lilac, but the other card fabrics, you need 1 in each colour, and they're 4 7/8. If you're concerned about measuring 4 7/8, let me see if I can put something behind this so you can see. Let me bring it in really close. Oh, where's the camera there? So if you can see each little dot, what have I got on my finger? I had a Satsuma, so I've got orange fingers. Each little line is an 1/8, okay? So 1/8, and then a long line, that's an 1/8, another line, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8. So it's just the last little line before 5, okay? So 4 7/8. Good morning, Christine. Hi, Karen. So you need 1 in each card fabric, whatever you've chosen that your cards are going to be. So 1 in each of those. And then you need 2 in your background fabric. I'm going to press that one. Where's my pressing mat? So 2 in your background fabric. Now, I will warn you, there will be a little bit of waste with this from how we're putting it together, but you're going to end up with some little triangles. Let's be honest. We're not going to throw them away. We're going to keep them for something else. So I'm sure you'll be fine with that. Hi, Mum. Hi, Karen. Right, so the first thing you're going to do is I'm just piling up my 4 7/8, and I'm just popping them to one side. And then I'm going to bring you in so you can see the other ones. Okay. Good morning, Susan. Okay, so these, I've got my phone on charge, so I'm just conscious that I don't go for the cable. Goodness me. Right, so these are your 5 1/4 squares. You're going to cut these into quarter square triangles. So you're going to cut them one way and you're going to cut them the other way. Okay, so we're going to do that for each one. So these are your 5 1/4 squares, and you're cutting them into quarter square triangles. You're simply going to go from point to point, and then from point to point. Okay, and I'm going to make 4 piles. So I'm going to put 1 in each pile, which you probably can't see, but I've got them laid out. Green, like so. Again, just popping those in the piles. You could cut more than 1 at a time if you want to, but I just like to keep it accurate and just do 1 at a time. Okay. You'll have to bear with me a little bit this morning. I'm not quite feeling as on top of the world as I normally do. I'm incredibly tired today, and I've got the shakes. So just bear with me. And I'm about to sneeze. 1 second. Okay. Sorry about that. Right, so that's that one. Put it in its pile. And then the final one, which is the background fabric, into quarter square triangles. Okay, so just leave them be now and just leave them in their piles. So you should have 4 piles that look like this. Okay, morning Linda. Good morning Hayley. Thank you Sandra. Now I feel another sneeze coming on. No, I think we're okay. Right, so now we're on to the 4 7/8 squares, and we're going to cut these into half square triangles. So each one of these just in half, diagonally, to make half square triangles. Okay, again, you can do more than 1 if you want to. I like to just do 1 at a time. And I'm going to put these into 2 piles. My lilac with flowers, my purple leaves, I do love that fabric. Then my 2 background fabrics, which are the same colour. So I've got 2 lilacs. And then my final card fabric, which is my hot pink. Right. Okay, so this is what you should have now. You should have 2 piles of these, the larger half square triangles, and you'll have 4 piles of these, which are the smaller quarter square triangles, okay? Right, now remember I told you there's going to be a little bit of waste. Yeah, you're going to take 2 of each colour of the speak words. You're going to take 2 of each colour of the quarter square triangles, except the background colour, and set them aside. We're not going to use them for this block, but this is the best way of making up these quarter square triangles, okay? So that's 2 of each colour. So I'm just going to pop, got the shakes, do you see? So 2 of each colour. So keep my background squares. I'll remove these 2. I'm just doing it like this so you can see. Remove those 2, remove those 2, remove those 2. So essentially all you're doing is taking out your background. So you can pop those to a side, and you can use them in a different project. They won't go to waste, will we? So now you've got 2 piles as they were, plus 2 background fabrics. I hope that makes sense to you. Right, I'm going to bring in my pressing mat now, because I'm going to lay these all out on my pressing mat. I'm just going to take out the pins that I've been storing on here, so it makes it a little bit easier for me to manage. Right, put my ruler to one side also. Okay, you all with me so far? Hello from Australia. Hi, Lizzie Ann. Wow, we've gone international. Well, we've already got some people from the USA, but now we're Australia. Right, we're going to lay these out now in exactly the order that the card trick block is going to be. Now, what you need to do is just start with your quarter square triangles, okay? So take one pile of your quarter square triangles, take away the background fabric, and you're just left with your card fabrics. You're going to put these in the center of where you're laying out in the order in which you want your cards to go around. So for instance, if I've got my lilac here, this lilac is going to go up here and across here. This pink is going to go up and across. So I'm pretty happy with how that's just laid out in the order it is. So I'm okay with that. So now what we need to do is lay out the rest of the triangles. So we start with our half square triangles for the same colour. So I've got my pink there, and I want my half square triangle to go shortest end against it and diagonally away. Then I'm going to take my purple, and that is like this. So short end against the purple and diagonal away. So hopefully you can see that. Oh, you got your pressing mat this morning, Sandra. Oh, brilliant. I'm just a bit surprised that the post is still on time. So I'm now laying down my lilac flowers. So that's the short end and then the diagonal across. And then finally my lovely green, short end and diagonal across. So you'll end up with this pattern. Yeah? Yeah, brilliant. Okay, now we're going to place in, excuse me, I've got a very sniffly nose, the next half square triangle. So again, starting with the top colour, which is my pink, I'm going to place the short end against the short end. So I've got the diagonal in the same direction as this green diagonal. Yeah? Now we'll do the lilac. So the lilac now is this corner piece. Then the green. You'll see now what you're doing is you're just making up the corners. Corner and corner. I'll fill in now the background half square triangle so you can see how it's coming together. Yeah, brilliant. Okay, now we're on to the smaller quarter square triangles. So if I start with my colours first, so we want to, these are going to go short edge, like so. Yeah? Takes a bit of getting your head around it for a second, but once you've done it, so the short edge is going against the long edge of your half square triangle. Short edge against long edge. Make sure that's the right way around. See, now I've just put that in the wrong place. This one, concentrate, Abigail, concentrate. Right, that's like that, that's like that. Why, I don't know why I've put that one there. See, this is what I mean. You've got to concentrate, otherwise you're not going to get very far at all. Okay. Like so. Like so. So each card, if you're looking at it, it sort of resembles a heart. So you'll have the half square triangles like this, and then the two at the top, and that just goes all the way around. Then you're going to fill in the gaps with your background fabric, like so. And you've got the layout there for your card trick. Now to stitch this together, we're going to start with the centre half square, quarter square triangles to make a square. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the two that have got the short edge together, stitch that short edge, then we're going to take these two, stitch that short edge, and then we're going to join them all together along this edge. What I've got to do is just move, you've got to keep it like this because it just keeps everything easy for you. Okay, so I'm just going to bring in my machine, taking those two centre pieces on the short edge, and I'm going to stitch them together, 1/4 of an inch as usual. Okay. Once you've done one, just gently finger press it and put it back where it belongs, and then do the next two. And stitch. Okay. Finger press and put it back. So now you can see, if I bring this back in, I've got two now half square triangles, and I'm simply going to take this one over to this one, right sides together, and you'll notice I haven't pressed yet. I'm going to press once at the end. So joining up that centre seam from corner to corner, and stitch. Now I'm going to press this, so I'm simply going to set that seam, roll it open and press. Give that a nice press. And I'm going to put it back exactly where I want it to be, back in the centre. Honestly, it's not complicated once you lay it out, okay? So what you could do is take a screen capture of the video and then just have a look at the layout, or have a look at the layout on the picture that I posted in the event from yesterday. As long as you keep everything as it is, you won't go wrong, okay? Now we're going to stitch our 1/4 inch triangles together, and I'm just going to chain piece those together. So I'm going to go round in an anti-clockwise. I'm going to go chain stitch those two together, those two together, those two together, those two together. Take them off the machine, press, finger press, and then put them back where they're meant to be. Okay. So this one first. Helps if your needle's up. Line up those edges. That's one. Next one. Make sure they're lined up. Just got to turn my fan off, 1 second. That's my heating fan. It's too warm now. So third one. William says good morning. Good morning, William. William's my nephew. We're missing you. Last one, last quarter square triangle that's going to make a half square triangle. Okay. So now getting my scissors, I'm just going to snip these apart. Bring in my board, or go to your, wherever you've laid this out. Finger press them open. And then put them back. Remember I started, excuse me, I went round anti-clockwise, so I know the next one I open goes here. Okay, like so. Third one goes there, and fourth one goes here. Beautiful. Okay. Oh, I love you, he says. Yes, I'm his favourite. He drew a picture of me at school. Auntie Abby, she's my favourite. Right, so for each one of those we've just stitched, we're now going to put on the corresponding half square triangle. So taking the two that we've put together, right sides together and stitch. And we do that 4 times. This one, this one, this one, and this one. Oh, I can hear Mr. Sainsbury's is here. Mr. Sainsbury's has arrived. Yay, yay, yay. So if you can hear any noises, that's Mr. Sainsbury's. Or Mrs. Sainsbury's, dependent on who's delivering it. Okay, then finger press. We're not going to chain these. We're just going to finger press each one open and put it back where it belongs. Next one. Yay, Mr. Sainsbury's. My lovely daughter's just got a few supplies and a bunch of daffodils. Ah, Susan, that's lovely. Lovely, lovely. I think we're all starting to realise exactly how much people mean to us, aren't we? And also, how many times we just pop out? You know, just pop out to go to this shop or go and see this. It's weird, isn't it? Right, just stitching those together, finger press, and pop it back where it belongs. And then the last one of these. I'll be honest, I was amazed I got a slot. I only booked it yesterday. 7 o'clock in the morning. Well, I think I told you all, didn't I? Right, so open that one out as well. And finger press. And pop that back where it's meant to go. Okay? So you've got that. So now we're going to stitch our half square triangles together. So these should just be your corner pieces. Okay? Corner pieces, half square triangles, stitched together, right sides together. Bring the machine. And then you'll have a 9 patch. Okay. My bobbins run out, so I've actually not stitched any of that. So we'll just trim that off. And do the bobbin. Totally lost the plot. That's okay. Well, that's what the videos are here for. They're staying. So if anyone isn't going to stitch along, you know, just do it afterwards. Pause it as and when you have to. Mute me as and when you have to. Or they go up on YouTube about half an hour after the live. So if you want to see them there, they're also there. Drop off a gas stove and gas for my friend. Yeah, you couldn't give her a hug. Yeah, that's tricky, isn't it? Okay, that'll be enough bobbing. Just rethread my machine. Oh, I can hear the Sainsbury's man. We only had one substitution because they did, no, we had one thing out of stock, which was completely out of stock, no alternatives given, which was, I can't remember. And then everything else they substituted. So I got the children like chocolate bars and things for their snack boxes, and they've substituted every single one for something else. It's a bit odd. So they've obviously got loads of stuff in, but obviously not the stuff I want. But I don't mind, no complaining here. I got bread and milk and toilet roll, which we actually needed. Right, finger press those open and pop them back where they belong. Next one. Haven't lined that up very well at all. Stitch. Finger press. Third, 2 half square triangles together. Son's just been with shopping. Ah, brilliant. Good morning, Leslie. Right, finger press that one. Pop it back. And then last one, and then we're going to press all these squares. So now we've got this. Okay. Postman came earlier with a lovely surprise from brother. Oh, 2 jars of Highland Park whiskey marmalade. God gracious. Right, we're going to press each of these now, because we haven't pressed yet, apart from the centre one. So I'm going to press my corners first. And all I do is just leave them where they are and press. Or if you are going to take them to your iron, just take them one at a time and then place it back where it's meant to be. Trust me, it will make your life a lot easier. Okay, so I've pressed all my corners and now I'm going to press the other ones. Press those seams down, roll them back. Lovely. Press those seams, roll it back. Third one, press, roll it back, and fourth one, roll it back. Okay. Okay, happy with that so far? So now it's just a 9 patch. So we're going to stitch row 1 together, row 2 together, row 3 together, and then we're gonna join all 3 together. So what you can do is just move them all in. So you can just double check you've put everything back where it should be, which that looks pretty good. And so we're gonna start with row 1. So piece 2 over to piece 1, right sides together, trim off any threads that happen to be in your way. Right sides together. And stitch. Okay, opening this out. So now we've got this. Then I take it back to my layout and I make sure I'm putting number 3 on in the right place. It's a lot back and forth with this one, but it is worth it. So just lining up this piece. Here we go. Oh no, I've unthreaded my machine there. I was too keen to get going. Okay, my bobbin's out. I'll just trim off that a little bit and we'll start again. Well, off Mr. Sainsbury's man goes. I can say Mr. Sainsbury's man because I heard him, he was a man. He was a chap. Right, line up those sides. Okay. I have the prim iron. Should I have it on steam? No, you don't need to steam it till the end. Right, that's one. Next one. I mean, you can do what you like, but I personally don't steam until the end because I don't find it necessary. Line number 2. Open it up. Trim off the threads because they're just annoying. And then place it back. Make sure that's where it should be. Third piece. Such a nice block. Really satisfying to do, actually. And okay. So that's what you've got now. You'd have us round for tea and toast. Wouldn't that be nice? If you're going to use your steam on your mat, don't use it on your, don't put your mat on your cutting mat because that steam's just going to go straight through. If you want to use steam on the mat, take it to your ironing board. And obviously the mat will get damp because you're adding water to it. So just prop it up to dry it. But you won't, to be honest with you, you won't need the steam with your mat. Okay, pop it back, bring this one over. After I've done all these strips, I'm going to go do a good trim of my threads. I don't want any sticking up between the layers once I've joined them together. So this is now row 3 done. Bring this in. Okay. So now I'm going to get rid of these threads because they're not necessary in the slightest. And also you can trim off your dog ears as well if you want to. Get rid of them. And this one. It's not necessary. This isn't a key vital step. Can you hear that? That's my stomach rumbling. Because it knows the Sainsbury's man's been. Right, so now we're joining the top piece to the centre piece, so right sides together and stitching, and then we'll join the bottom piece, stitch, and then we're done. So keeping it all in the same place, lining up my edges, and stitching those down. Honestly, my tummy must have thought, really must have thought, I can hear Mr. Sainsbury's, he's bringing food. So just make sure all your seams are straight. Take your time going over between the blocks, and then that's the top, and then we bring in bottom piece. Just getting rid of some threads. Bring in that bottom piece, which I was about to attach to the wrong piece. See, that's what I'm talking about, putting it all back together. I was about to put it on the top. I don't think you'd have appreciated that. Your mat has arrived, yay! Card trick is a complicated block, but you've made it look really easy. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Mum. So lining up those seams. I'm a very visual learner, so it's a lot easier for me to learn from someone doing it. Just go slowly over those seams because you've got a fair bit of bulk there now. Keep that seam flat. Keep that one nested that way. Okay, trim off these annoying threads. If you've got a machine that cuts the threads for you as you go, ugh, I'm jealous, because honestly, thread's the bane of my existence. Right, we're going to press this now. So press that seam and open it out. Press this seam. Open it out. I mean, my triangles could have matched up a heck of a lot better than that, but I hope you'll forgive me as I'm a little bit under the weather today. Okay, so now I always say, take this, as I've said with all the other blocks, is take this to your big iron and give it a good steam. You can bring your big iron onto your pressing mat if you've got one. Just have it on your ironing board because of the water. The steam will travel through, and you don't want to warp your mat. You don't want to have wet on your lovely kitchen table or your sewing space. I'm just going to turn my iron off. Put my cutting mat down here, and I'm going to just slightly. Where's my big ruler gone? Where is it? Where is it? Where have you gone? Lost it. I've got 4 of those big rulers in here, and I can't even see one of them. No? Well, goodness knows what I've done with that. I'll use my nice small ruler from my mum. I'm just going to going down the seam, going down the centre seam on this side. This is my right side. I'm just taking my ruler, and I just want to make sure that every square is 4 1/4 inches. So any excess you can trim off. Okay, that's my head again on the light. Every day I do that. Every day. This also helps get rid of your dog ears. 4 1/4. Okay. 4 1/4, which is like that. And the final side, 4 1/4. Right, there we have it. Clean up. Let's move you up. Hello. Let's move you like that. So we've got our block now. It will measure just over 12.5 inches. It'll be more like 12 3/4 inches, but that's absolutely fine for what we're going to be doing. So this is the card trick block. Whichever way up you want it. I quite like it that way, actually. I think that's the way I'm going to have it. So really, I know it looks like there's lots going on, and there is lots going on. But as long as you keep your pieces in one location, in the position that they're meant to be in, and you keep returning those pieces once you've stitched, you'll keep on track. Please don't just have a pile and stitch and put them... Just take that time to have it to one side and keep returning, Obviously, I know that's involved, especially if you've got, say, your iron upstairs or whatever, but that's why we iron the centre block, and then we don't iron anything until we've got 9 patches, 9 squares, and then we iron those. So hopefully that won't be too bad for you. So that's the card trick. Leg serve. I've got all the other blocks here as my stomach's still rumbling. So now we're up to day, add that to the collection. We're up to day 11. Tomorrow is our last block. Now yesterday you might have remembered me saying, oh, I can't remember what the theme is for this one. I can't remember the theme. The theme for the last 3 is my favourites. So we've had the card trick, a little bit more involved, and then we had the really easy disappearing 9 patch yesterday. So I love those, really love those. So you've got 11 blocks, or if you're catching up, you might have 1 block, you might have 3 blocks, whatever. The videos are going to be around for ages. If you want the dimensions, I mentioned them at the top of the video, or they're in the Facebook event. If you're watching this on YouTube later, a later date, head over to the event, type in isolation along into the search bar, and the event should come up. And you don't have to join the event, you can just go onto the event and have a look in the discussion tab, and all the information is in the discussion tab with lots of pictures as well from everyone that has made blocks. We are up to 108 pictures in the album, I think it's 108. It might be more. I did add some more this morning. This on your weekend. Thanks for doing this on your weekend. See you tomorrow for bingo. Well, do you know, it doesn't really feel like a weekend, does it? We've got nowhere to be, no plans. But yeah, that's it. So tomorrow is the last block. Then we'll have 12 blocks. And then on day 13, we're going to add a border around your smaller blocks so that we bring them up to size. Trust me, it makes it. And we're also going to be talking about sashing. And then I'm going to roll over to day 14, where we're going to talk about quilting and binding. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you, Robbie. Thanks, Leslie. You're welcome, Susan. You're welcome, Sandra. So just a last quick look. That's the card trick. Thanks for joining me. Loads of people watching this morning, so I'm thrilled with that. Hopefully I've given you a 45 minutes of entertainment or a break from what's happening out there. Last block will be posted tonight before 6 o'clock in the group, in the event, sorry, and all the dimensions, cutting instructions, and then I'll be back here tomorrow 11 a.m. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow 11 o'clock. Bye.